Tracy, thank you very much for coming from all the way from Canada.
Oh,
It's such a pleasure. I think this is your first time in Hungary, right?
My first time in Hungary, it really is. Not even 24 hours.
Well, exactly, because I'm going to tell you a little secret. We should have picked her up yesterday, but then her flight was delayed, which is not her fault, yeah? I would say failing systems, big time. And then we actually got to your apartment here. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So, but I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, this lady gets out of the plane, and then Gabor went to pick her up, and I'm sitting in the car, and all I can see that, she is like all excited, and yeah, come on. So she is, you saw her, doing the speech, but 3 a.m. after delayed flight, she was exactly the same. Okay? And what was even funnier, and I have to tell this, that we got to the place, we sort everything out, she is settled, and then she goes like, let's do a Facebook Live.
Always dial it up.
Absolutely. So we actually did a Facebook Live. I think it was 2:30 at the time.
Yeah.
And then, we had so many people, joining us from other side of the world because, there is daytime in America. So everyone was like waving, hey, hello, how are you? So that has been amazing. And she is just such an energy bomb.
Oh, I love that. Energy bomb. Nice.
Where is this energy coming from? Because I've seen you, and it's not the first time we met, right? And then you are always like this, like full of energy. And then I saw so many people who, doesn't have half an inch of that. So where is it coming from?
But even I was sitting next to you at Mega Success. It was 5 days, really long hours. And I was just lucky that I got to sit next to you and Gabor. And you went to get food or tea, and she came back with a tea for me, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, like you rally your lifelines. I'm like, oh, you're going to get a drink? Please, I will pay you. Can you grab me a tea? And she grabbed me a tea. And so you need to know when to ask for help. You need to rally the Mega Success Expo and great coaches and dial it up a little bit more that's beyond where you believe you think, right? Like who'd have thought? It was unrealistic. I reached out to gold Olympian Magnus Lidgedal. He thought so too. He was washing a boat at the time. And so I'm like, hey, I'm Tracy from Toronto. I'm sorry that I Facebooked you, Twittered you, emailed you, LinkedIn you. And he never, ever replied. And you're like, where is that energy from? But he never replied. And I knew I was going to figure out, and I didn't know how, a way to get Magnus's attention. And so what was he doing? Speak to his listening. He was washing a boat. So I picked up a rag, and I washed the boat. And I washed Magnus's boat for 3 months. I knew that that's what I needed to elevate myself, is somebody that's elevated from where I was at. And so that energy, I love think of your exit plan. So if I'm going to be exiting an Olympian, then what do I got to do to go backwards? And that really energizes me. Because if I want to be famous, then I got to do a FaceTime, even though it is 3 a.m. Almost.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that this is a great example of so many people come to me and say that, I can't reach to this person, and et cetera, et cetera. And I think that this is persistence, that, if you have a goal, if you want to achieve, then never give up and never take a no for an answer, because at some point, there is a yes.
Yeah. Magnus just didn't know, K-N-O-W, right? And when I heard no, I knew he just didn't know. And what happened, I went there for me. I went there for Unstoppable Tracy to be a superstar Canadian Paralympic medalist. What happened in that journey was that there were other Paralympians from Norway and from Germany and from England and from all around the world that needed support too. And so we changed Magnus in a parking lot. And the parking lot was called Shake a Leg, which I think is appropriate. so funny. And I'm like, I've got no legs to shake. We got to get out of here. And we moved into the U.S. Paralympic Sports Club. And we became an international Paralympic sports club that Magnus is now the founder of. And had I not pursued my individual journey, it wouldn't have been this journey that I could help him with. I helped him with systems and strategies to become a Paralympic sports club around the world, not just for me. And so I didn't see that in my journey. I didn't make it to Rio 2016. But I did make an international Paralympic sports club that helps hundreds of sailors, including all 4 people that got first, second, third, fourth. They all were supported by Magnus because of my International Paralympic Sports Club with Magnus. With Magnus driving it up.
It's an amazing story, and during lunchtime, I think I was talking to you then about that, how interesting that you give something out to someone, and then that will come back to you, but it takes a huge circle before it comes back to you, and you shouldn't be expecting the same help from the person that you're given to, because life will sort it out in the best way.
Every time.
Every time. So now you are on a European tour.
Yes! Yay!
Yes.
Loving it.
Yeah. How many countries you've been so far?
So far, well, I've been to 10 cities, but I think I was, someone used their fingers, Scotland, Ireland, England, Hungary, Belgium. So 5 so far. 5 so far in 10 cities.
10 cities, but you are...
On a stage on every city.
You haven't finished because you are traveling tomorrow.
Yes, to Munich.
To Munich.
And then Frankfurt, and then Paris, and then Champagne, and then Wales, and then Zurich, and then Amsterdam. And there, in my inbox, there's 2 or 3 people that are asking me to come visit as well. So we'll see if we can squish the flight in or not. And that's what happened with Magnificent Orsi, too.
Yeah.
She's like, you're coming to Europe? You must come to Hungary. And she made it happen. And it's such a big win for me to be in Hungary. What an incredible opportunity. And how wonderful that it's an opportunity for you, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was
it
wonderful.
Worked out really well for both of us. But I suppose that all of you here, right?
Aww.
Because then you might have never heard about Tracy, maybe. And then today... you go away with, I think, that a very, very great story that you can... And by the way, isn't it amazing that she's traveling all around Europe and so many cities, and how many people are not willing to do whatever it takes, right? And it's so true, because I messaged her, I saw her that she's coming to a European tour, and I just had one sentence that, what are you doing on the 25th?
Yeah.
Right?
And then I started making it work.
I'll work it out. That was the answer. I'll work it out. No problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's amazing. So what's the plan for this year?
Oh, my goodness. Well, so this, right from Europe, I go home and I travel across Canada, and then I go to Singapore, Japan, I'm in Hong Kong, and Russia, all before Christmas.
All before Christmas.
All before, and then the end of December, all those people that are asking me for September, October, November, I've been telling them all, I'm afraid I'm not back till December 10th. And my sister tells me that my calendar from 10th to 25th is getting very full with some local Canadian business.
That's great. And you just, you had your TEDx speak as well.
Yes!
Tell me about that.
Can you believe that? Okay, so TEDx. So I had, right from January 1st, when I put out a goal that I wanted 1,000 on a stage, before I saw 10,000 on a stage, what I did and what you all do is, so what are people doing in your business that are 10 times more successful than you? And all of the big stage, well-paid speakers, they had a TEDx and they had a book. So that's why I had to do a book and a TEDx. So I wrote for 10 months. I was trying to get into TEDx, and applying and talking to people who had been in TEDx and how did you get in TEDx. And you know, one of the really important things about everyone included, you know, it's not about unstoppable Tracy, it's about unstoppable you and everyone included and supporting each other through Mega Success Expo and making a difference. Orsi is so generous with Gabor to host. That's what they're about. Their true, authentic purpose is not for them to be successful, but they're like, okay, we've been really lucky, and being exponentially successful. So we need to do something to give back. So they do these expos to make a difference, which is amazing. And so I'm so talkative, I forgot my journey. TEDx. So February 1st, I told someone for a free stage that I would share the stage for them. And it was a motivational Monday. And it's a great place to get started. But it is a free stage. And now I get paid $10,000. And it's really important for my brand and my marketing that what I'm portraying fits my new elevated brand, and that's what I'm communicating. And so in Toronto, maybe the rest of the world wouldn't know, but I know in Toronto and in Canada, they would know Motivation Monday is a free gig. It's almost a little bit, it's a great gig, and it's great speakers, but it's a bit of a beginner gig. And he asked me to do it. And I told him, February 1st, I'd do it. And you gotta have integrity. You gotta have your word. You gotta do what you say. And I said I would do this. So in July, he's asking me to do this. And so I did it. Guess who is in the audience? Not JT, I wish, but TEDx. TEDx was in the audience. And instead of me applying to TEDx, they scoped me and they saw my stages and they saw my website and they're like, you've got to be on my TEDx. And I'm like, when? And just like you, they're like, August 6th or August 7th. And on August 6th, I was in Orlando in front of 3,000 people. So I had to figure out how to be in front of 3,000 people on the 6th, and I had to be in Toronto for a TEDx on the 7th. And it meant wasting a flight. It meant throwing away a flight, which I did for here too. You throw away flights that cost you money in order to create a bigger opportunity because it's important. And Orsi and Gabor have been incredible for me. So it's really important to me and my integrity that I be here for them. And I knew that they were difference makers and that's what Mega Success Expo is all about. And so you got to keep your word. And my TEDx happened because of my integrity. I spoke on this free little stage of a Motivation Monday, and I got the TEDx that I've been trying to get. And it wasn't my intention out of that. I almost, I really debated, should I do this? But my integrity said, yep, you should. So be loyal to the people that are so great and loyal to you.
Absolutely, I think loyalty is really key. And I'm sure you saw that picture of the guy who is digging in this cave and then turning away from the diamonds. So that's very similar. Do you have the persistence to push just a little bit more? It doesn't matter how tired you are. Doesn't matter what you have put in. Just a little bit more, because maybe that little bit is going to get you that awesome opportunity. Tracy, it's a pleasure, and thank you so much to being here.
Thank you for having me.
I am so excited.
Yes.
I've been following obviously I haven't been following enough because I didn't notice you there.
But I just got it. It won't be up yet. It'll be up however long it takes.
So it will be a happy moment when I see it. But basically, according to my knowledge, I didn't know that you were there yet.
No,
so that was
just
definitely the thing I wanted to say. But then, holy shit, you just said that you've been already there.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah.
See, you manifested it for me.
I really enjoy very much your energy and your spirit. So my question is about, of course, you have up and downs, and how you deal when there are these downs to go back.
As I said before, who you surround yourself with is who you become. Look for those lifelines. Like even in this Europe tour with every single flight's been delayed. Every flight. And my timing is so crazy tight. To Mega Success, and Gabor and Orsi are hosting Mega Success Expo, and they're at an airport at 3 a.m. with me and dropping me off. So they had very little sleep last night. So you don't want to be late for that. But look who I'm surrounded with. 2 phenomenal souls that didn't for a second make me feel guilty last night for being so late. It was amazing. I completely, and then this morning, my cell phone and Wi-Fi and whatever, I didn't, the pickup, they thought of me and they're like, okay, we're going to let her sleep in. We're not going to come. We're going to wait till she communicates to us. And that was really thoughtful. So it's who you surround yourself with is who you become. And I love my sister. My sister is an incredible strength. And when she says something's unrealistic, and you know, she's seen me learn to sail. I've captained tall ships. I've been to the Himalayas. I've busted a strike with pilots at Air Canada. I've supported mergers, and I've broke Uber into Canada right when they were being exited out the door, like here. Because with Uber comes accessibility. You know, when you've got a monopoly on transportation and expensive taxis, the Uber brings not only affordable pricing, but it also brings accessibility. It makes it accessible for people with disabilities that might not be able to afford that ride. And the Uber also has a commitment to wheelchair accessible vehicles. So with Uber, not only does it bring Uber, it brings accessible vehicles to countries that might not be there with that kind of accessibility. And so I helped bust Uber into Canada. And so all of these big adventures, you know, and when I came to Europe, right, even the day before, my sister was still begging me to cancel on everybody and say, I'm sorry, it's just too much. And that's hard because it's a lot. It is a lot. Poor Gabor felt how heavy my bags were. And so it is a lot to take on. It is very tempting when your sister, who knows you really well and knows what you can do, is convincing you that something is unrealistic. Right? And whether when I was young, it was unrealistic. And now I'm older, well, you're older. It's unrealistic, right? And so you need to also rally those people that just believe. And what do you do when you're down? When I was in the parking lot with Magnus, so I washed his boat. I don't know if I said I had to wash his boat for 3 months. I got sandwiches for him. I lived out of my car. I lived out of a boat. I lived on a balcony for 3 months before he said, come on, let's go sailing. And so when I had nobody around me and I was trying to rally lifelines and get to know people, it's hard to get to know people when you're living in your car and trying to live more affordably so you're not doing the social dinner kind of thing. So I talked to myself in my rearview mirror of my car. And I'm like, today's the day that you're going to sail with Magnus. And you know, I have to admit that for those first 3 months, I didn't fully believe it. I needed to believe it. And so that day, 12 times, I don't know, I've got this magic 12. I got to wipe out 12 times in the ski hills, and I got to go to the magic 13. It's not unlucky 13 for me, it's lucky 13. I had to tell myself in the rear, okay, today is the day. It's really the day. Believe it? You better believe it. I believe it. Today is the day Magnus is going to. And it wasn't just the self-talk and believing. I had taken action for 3 months in a parking lot. So it was a combination of believing and then doing whatever it took. But I definitely cried a ton in my car. And when I left to go to meet Magnus, I had just finished this great contract, and I was in a parking lot, and I was crying about crying. Has anybody ever cried because they were crying, right? Or angry because you're angry? Like, you're not angry because the guy cut you off and you let them make you angry. You know, it depends on where you tap into your gut reactions, right? And so I knew whatever you focus on grows. And so the reason I was crying about crying was I was focusing on sad, so I didn't want to focus on sad because I was afraid I was going to invite more sadness into my life if I focus on that. And I didn't want to drive home because I thought, oh, geez, the telephone pole's, and I thought that, a telephone pole's going to fall on my path because I'm so sad. I'm like, I just put that out there. I gotta reframe. You know, what if this is true, that what you put out there comes back? And it is true, and I'd seen it be true. So what I focused on was, okay, what makes me happy? What makes me happy no matter? And it was sailing. And so that was the day, that was the morning that I decided at 9:30 in the parking lot. So I'm going to pursue my Paralympic dream. And that's the day that I put all my belongings on Kijiji to get down there. And that's the day I decided to go. And if it didn't fit in my car, it didn't come with me. And then that's the day that started 3 months of living in my car and washing boats for Magnus before I could turn it into a real sale. But I do get down, I do get sad, and I just like consciously force myself. And it's okay to be sad, but not in a way. I had a valid excuse. It's the worst thing in the world. No excuses. If I can do it, you can do it. Yeah, it's a lot of self-talk. Thank you. Thank you. And the book will help too. Read the book if you have no allies. I'll be your ally on Facebook or in the book.
Tracy, what is the biggest goal you would like to, you are going to achieve in your life?
Nice. Give her a round of applause. Yeah. So see, her goals will reframe now. My biggest goal that I would like to, she is now going to reframe. She reframed it for me, and she's going to reframe it for herself. That's why she is Orsi's superstar, right? Would you like to, but are you going to achieve? I am going to achieve World Peace 2035. I'm going to achieve that. And I'm not going to achieve it alone. Right? All of us together, we are going to achieve. We earn independence together, everyone included. I never expected to be the shoelace leader. All I wanted to be was in that classroom. And so if you're being underestimated, if someone says you're a woman, or you're too tall, or you're too small, or you have an accent, or you don't speak English well enough, none of those things matter. You can achieve your biggest goal times 10, plus you can help World Peace 2035. Please like Unstoppable Tracy, Unstoppable You, and also like World Peace 2035. That would be a big help as a start.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Big round of applause for Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you.